time I was.
And it was a good joke. Yeah. And we're back.
We're live.
Welcome to the Fresh Cut. It's been a while. We weren't here last week.
I was in Florida.
I was here, but I didn't do a show, so you win some, you lose some. I don't know if that's applicable, whatever. It feels
cats and dogs.
It feels weird to be back. I'm not really used to this. And
he doesn't even remember if he ate his breakfast this morning.
No, I don't remember if I ate my breakfast, but if I'm grumpy, then I probably didn't eat my breakfast. We actually, the last time I was on the radio with Erin was a couple Thursdays ago. She also hosts Milligan Radio's Music Buffs Live, but she is performing with her co-host Mitchell. So they asked me to step in as normal host, and I'm not a natural at it, but I had my fun.
My mom thought you were the best part.
Well, that's good. If there's anyone I'm trying to please, it's one of our parents. I was hoping for my own, but that's fine.
Well, you win some, you lose some.
What's you're the apple of my eye, Milligan Radio? Is that?
Corinne's not here yet.
I don't know if she'll be here. She's not here yet. She might be lost. Non-comm majors don't really know how this building works. But
they don't know where the secret door is to get in.
Yeah, it's confusing. Well, I mean, to get to the basement, there's like a flight of stairs. So like, this is one of the. I feel like legally that's kind of messed up in terms of accessibility, but I don't know if I should be talking about the.
We don't want Bill Grill crawling in. Actually, I kind of do want Bill Grill.
I thought you said crawling in. That'd be scary. Anyways, housekeeping. Follow us on Twitter at Noah and Erin, the Fresh Cut, and also
here!
My wife's here. She's sitting in. She's on spring break this week. She teaches children. She's gonna sit in the corner and hopefully not make any sounds.
We haven't gotten to the trash your family segment yet.
Yeah, maybe I'll get some angry looks when we insult our families, as we tend to do. You can listen to all our stuff on YouTube if you end up liking this. If you're listening and you end up liking this,
Mom
and Erin's mom. If
my
you,
mom.
yeah. See, that's plenty to work with.
Should we introduce our guests now? I think we've made them.
We probably should. I don't think this is as long as we sometimes make them wait.
See,
but
I felt like this was longer.
Well. It's been a while. It's raining cats and dogs. Today we have esteemed Milligan students. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure.
All right, well...
I'm Brandon Smith. I'm a communications major.
And Shaun Whitson, double major, bio and photography.
That sounds hard, Shaun. I assumed you were communications because you're in DV and everything, but...
Yeah, a lot of people assume that.
It's okay. I'm math and communications, so it's nice to meet a fellow. It feels kind of random, at least. Maybe those are actually super connected, and I just never considered it.
Yeah, that's one way to look at it.
Okay, well, thanks for dealing with that. That's my bad.
I have a Bible minor.
Thank you, Erin.
I just felt the need to throw that out.
Do you have a minor or a second major, Brandon?
Yeah, I'm a journalism minor.
How's that going for you?
Pretty good.
Have you taken Stampede yet?
Yes.
Dang it.
Have you taken... Well, you haven't taken Stampede TV, have you?
No.
That's the big stuff. That's the fun stuff. It's one thing to read the news, but when you can see it happening in front of you, poorly edited by a couple students just trying to get through the class, that's when you really feel it. I'm in there.
Feel it, Mr. Krabs? That wasn't iCarly, sorry. That was my
bad. Erin's known for iCarly references, but on this show she only brings up SpongeBob. I know. That's my forte. Whatever. I mean, not that she can't enjoy SpongeBob.
Thanks for the permission.
Okay, well now I feel weird. Not like you have to get permission from me. This is bad. Oh, you got a white stripes shirt. I saw when those came out.
Yeah, it's parody because it says Icky Trump.
Yeah, and they have their song Icky Thump, which goes along with. It's funny that rhymes so perfectly because the song kind of goes against some of his policies, anyways.
Yeah. I wanted to wear something offensive because when you're on the radio, nobody can see what you're wearing.
Yeah, I brought it up. I love the White Stripes. I'm excited for Jack White's new albums, although I haven't been able to get into any of them. I guess I get into them, but they don't hold that quite same magic to me as the White Stripes.
Right. It seems to me that he tries to work on too many things at once.
Could be. Anyways, I'm interested to see his new stuff. I know it's not something we're really supposed to be talking about today since we're a conspiracy show.
I guess Music Buffs Live just rubbed off on you.
I guess I just got too excited. saw someone that liked something I like, and for a second I decided to not feel like an outcast. So,
I say go for 2 seconds. Don't feel like an outcast.
All right.
You have no recovery from that? We are out of practice, folks.
We had a really good run there for a bit, but here we are at our worst. We're relying on our guests to elevate the material today, because we're talking about big stuff today.
Elevate might have been the wrong word. I'm just kidding.
I don't. Anyways, I really don't like where this is going. We're talking about. Erin made a joke on Twitter. She said we're talking about 2 numbers today, and those 2 big numbers are 9 and 11. This is stressing me out. Just.
I didn't say the numbers. That way it didn't seem like a joke. Could be offensive.
That's okay. We're really towing. We're just used to goofing around here so much, but this is actually a bigger deal than most. And
yeah, I should be on my best.
We got to be careful. Anyways, Brandon here has apparently done a lot of research on 9/11, and I guess some of the things that could have led up to it. You want to talk about that at all?
Sure, I can. Just in general.
Yeah, like I don't know what you said you'd done. Yeah, where'd you start on it?
Well, for one thing, 9/11 was given this is a conspiracy show, I should go out and flat out say that I honestly do not believe that 9/11 was an inside job, in the sense that the government made it happen or let it happen. I don't think any of those ideas are plausible. But that being said, 9/11 was something that changed everybody's lives, and just like every other event that changes people's lives drastically on a wide scale across the world, conspiracy theories pop up left and right, and misinformation pops up left and right, but facts are still facts, and it seems to me that a lot of people choose not to believe those facts, and they like to believe in things that sound a lot more interesting, even though 9/11 in itself is a very interesting thing.
That's much more well-spoken than anything Erin and I have said about this, and I'm glad you've done your research, because I don't think either of us really looked into it too much for today, so if you want, you can just straight up lie about several things, and we won't dispute it.
Oh, but we have to do the band
name. It is your country. Name. Oh, yeah, also, we always play band name, baby name, stripper name. So if you hear,
on the radio.
Yeah, we can say stripper on the radio. We found that out. If you say something funny and you think that make a good band name, then let us know. Be like, hey, that's a good band name. Or if someone else says something, or if you see a poster in here, most of these posters have bands on them, so that'd be a little unoriginal. But then after we, oh sorry, Erin.
I was gonna say, feel free to interrupt, or just no matter what, call it out.
Yeah, and then we'll see if it's not only a good band name, but a good baby name and a good stripper name, or hippie name kind of goes with that too. I realized that today.
Yeah,
some things work out better for
what
that.
did I say? Transcendentalism.
Yeah, transcendentalism is pretty good.
A little bit long.
And we like to search for the trifecta of a name that works for all 3 of those. So keep it in mind, and let's move forward. Like our country has been.
You finally made a 9/11 joke.
I'm not trying to. I don't like.
We're not used to being on our best behavior.
We don't have a best behavior.
You're not wrong.
This is tough for us, Brandon, but we're interested to hear what you've been looking into.
Agreed. Take it away.
Well, are there any theories in general that you want to know about? Any conspiracies?
I did say I would say Bush did 9/11 on the radio.
So. We should at least bring it up. Seems a little out of his league in terms of when we were just talking about the rain poncho at Trump's inauguration. The scope of what he's capable of. Yeah. Not to put the guy down.
Well, he just put himself down. Did you hear him when he was like, if you think I was bad, Trump's an idiot? And I was like, well, you just admitted you were an idiot.
We're already getting into a lot of anti-Trump sentiment today.
Just how I like it. Okay, but your favorite, what do you think is the dumbest conspiracy theory out there?
Let's see, dumbest conspiracy theory regarding 9/11. Well, well, to be fair, I haven't. Well, I don't understand how those conspiracy theories work, because they don't make much sense.
Ouch.
Yeah, I mean,
this is our show.
well, I mean, what he was referring to, I presume, is the idea that there were no planes that struck the towers on 9/11, and that the news footage was fake, and that it was I don't know. There were green screens somehow thrown in there. I don't know.
That seems even more unreasonable than like the moon landing.
That's still not the dumbest conspiracy theory I've heard. Silliest. I'm gonna be nice.
Oh, you can say dumbest.
We could say stripper on the radio. I'm sure
there's one theory. There's this website called Let's Roll Forums, and I don't want to call people who get on the website out or anything, but there are some very, very strange ideas on the website, because the entire website seems to be devoted to conspiracy theories and 9/11. So there's one theory that involves a smoke machine inside one of the towers. I'm not entirely sure exactly what this smoke machine is supposed to do. Apparently, it's supposed to make things that would have been visible without the smoke machine invisible, like holes. People will take pictures, blow them up, and circle things they think are pipes with steam coming out of them. And I mean, there's something to be said about asking questions about 9/11, but I sincerely think this is not one of those things to ask questions about, because it just isn't very likely at all.
Well, that might have been where the government put the explosives.
Sure.
I mean, this is getting out of hand.
I just want to make Noah as stressed as possible, so if you can do that.
Well, I mean, people say that, they had plenty of opportunities to bring in explosives, but I mean, if these explosives were giant pipes that stuck out of the building, I don't know how effective that would be.
It's a little hard to sneak through.
Yeah, especially when
our new AC units are here. They're making a lot of smoke, but just ignore that.
Yeah.
It's the price you pay for quality.
But I mean, there's something to be said about 9/11 conspiracy theories, though. I feel like a lot of people who ask questions about 9/11 are asking decent questions. Like, why weren't the attacks prevented? Stuff like that. I mean, even to some extent, the collapse of the World Trade Center. I mean, especially World Trade Center 7 is, it completely collapsed and no plane flew into it. But a lot of people say that it collapsed in 5 to 7 seconds, when in reality it collapsed maybe 14 to 20 seconds. You can't see the collapse internally. Well, actually, you can see the collapse internally, but whenever people point to the tower collapsing, they only count whenever it's falling down. The entire left side of the building was basically was a very significant column in the building, and whenever it collapsed, it progressed along the top of the building, and it caved down, and there was a hole on the south side of the building that was massive. You couldn't see it because smoke was just billowing out of it, and whenever the tower collapsed, it leaned forward or backwards, I should say. Sorry.
I've already learned more about this than I did in all of my history classes.
But I mean, the thing is, you can see whenever the left side of the building collapses, you can see sunlight coming through from the other side, which means that there's nothing there anymore. And you can see, if you watch the video, the top of the building starts to move, the penthouse collapses in, it falls through the rest of the building, and you can see sunlight poking through, and then it was basically inevitable at that point. I mean, and firefighters said the building was going to come down, hours before. I mean, it wasn't, for some reason, conspiracy theories say that the fire department was involved in it, and that they were actually saying that they knew that it was going to come down, and that's what they mean when they said it was going to collapse. Like, we heard that they were going to blow this building up, so you better get back. But, in reality, they're saying that this building is unstable. You need to leave. I mean, nobody died when it collapsed either. So, I mean...
There's not witty comment I have.
Yeah, there's not much we can work with here.
It does look strange.
No one died during the collapse. It's just
no one died during the collapse. I mean, there are some very interesting things about that building. I mean, people like to point out that there were several government agencies who had offices there. The CIA, things like that. But what's more interesting to me is there were two people who were trapped inside the building on 9/11, and they reported explosions. They said that a stairwell caved in, but they say that in interviews and things they say this was before the first tower collapse, so it doesn't make any sense. Well, to be honest, I'm not doubting their credibility, but I mean it's kind of hard to know what time it is when you're in a building and the stairwell you were standing on completely collapsed and you're covered in. It's completely dark and you're covered in debris and dust. I mean, I don't understand how you could know something like that. I mean, to be honest.
Maybe they had a watch.
well, sure.
Yeah, a lot of watches have a little light up button. But,
sure. But I mean, this happened, from what I've seen, the people who, I've only seen the testimony of one of the two people, or was it three? I can't remember, trapped inside the building. And one of them said that, he was stepping over bodies or something like that, to that extent, but he didn't look down at them, so he didn't, he didn't see what they were. The guy just said, "Don't look down." So I don't know. The firefighter who was leading him out of the building, I don't know. I mean, there's definitely a lot of unanswered questions regarding 9/11, but I mean, there's things we do know, and those things often cast doubt on many of the conspiracy theories.
What do you think about The Simpsons? Wasn't The Simpsons?
Oh yeah, that's one of my favorites. I mean, I say that because I find it very strange that somebody would try to say that, 9/11 was an inside job because this episode of The Simpsons shows the Twin Towers and the numbers 9 and 11 above the Twin Towers. Right? Isn't that what it says?
I don't remember if there's numbers, but yeah, basically.
I know some people like to look at this card game that I think came out in the 90s that shows it's an Illuminati themed game, and it shows like the Pentagon on fire, this building on fire. But I mean, I don't understand how that could be looked at as like an explanation that 9/11 was perpetrated by the government.
Illuminati did 9/11.
Yeah, I guess you could say that, but I mean a card game.
There's the dollar bill as well,
Oh yeah, you can fold the dollar bill. I'm not sure which one you can fold.
It's just a $1 bill.
I know you can fold a 5, and you can. I don't know.
You know how to do it, don't you?
I don't know. I'd have to look at it for a minute.
I'll have a 5.
Yeah, but you can fold it, and it will show like 2 buildings apparently on smoke. I mean, I'm sorry, on fire, smoke coming out of them, that kind of thing.
And I mean, those are like weird coincidences.
Yeah,
but
I mean, I don't know how you can explain anything away by doing that. I mean, 9/11 was an inside job because I can fold this dollar bill into the World Trade Center on fire.
So, I mean, The Simpsons has been really accurate about a lot of things. That's nothing compared to like the Trump or half the other things they predicted. So I'd say that's a little too subtle for your classic Simpsons predictions.
Maybe they have a prophet working for them.
Matt Rowing.
Imagine like knowing what happens in the future, and the best way you can think to share this with people is to make a classic animated sitcom that also just touches on that has plenty of episodes that don't predict things. You also are just funny and can make a good show.
You have 2 gifts: prophecy and humor.
That's good. That's what we all really dream of.
That's my next conspiracy theory. I just made it up right now. It's not really a conspiracy theory.
Wait, what is?
That The Simpsons have a prophet working for them.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant just the concepts of humor and prophecy.
Well, I mean, there's videos on YouTube of scenes from movies, and like the entire video is like dedicated to spotting the Twin Towers in the movies and suggesting that that leads further evidence that that 9/11 was an inside job. So yeah, I like movies like Spider-Man. Like they had a cut.
Yeah, there's a poster, right?
Yeah, it was either a poster or trailer or a movie scene. I'm not exactly sure, but I mean, I can understand the controversy after 9/11 because I mean that movie came out after 9/11.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, there's things like Escape from New York and stuff. I mean, that takes place in New York City, but I don't know.
We all just waved at Erin Doolittle. That was why there was a pause.
Hopefully he doesn't come in here, though. Too many Erins would be kind of confusing.
We said
yelling would ensue.
Class.
Well, that's funny in class. On our radio show. Oh, no, he's here.
With a haircut, nonetheless.
Yeah, he's looking pretty. I don't know what's a good adjective.
He looks pretty. That was really.
He looked very pretty. Thanks. Bye, Erin Doolittle.
There's also a scene from Lilo and Stitch, the movie that was removed. It was during the spaceship chase.
Oh yeah,
and it was supposed
they
to be
changed that entire.
Yeah, it was supposed to be in downtown Honolulu and like with buildings and stuff, but then they took it out because it was like right around.
Well,
I had never heard that.
Yeah, because they got their spaceship going through, and the image of a ship going through a city like that, shooting and stuff is incredible. It's weird how. I mean, obviously they had to change a lot of things around that. It was probably the right call. With how huge it was in our country, but it's amazing how dated it makes things even immediately before that feel like, in terms of movies, if you see that in it, and it just feels weird to watch. Erin's laughing for some reason.
Are any of you fans of the X-Files?
No, I actually haven't seen it.
I've seen 3 episodes.
The first 3?
I have no idea what the ones my mom put on.
Well, there's this.
I've seen the Simpsons parody of the X-Files.
My mom, if my mom's listening, she likes X-Files. And sometimes she watches
Well, there's this.
Sorry, my mom.
Oh, you're good.
I just read a text from my mom. She wants us to also do a professional wrestling name. After a band name, baby name, stripper name, hippie name, professional wrestling.
That's pretty good because it has an entirely different vibe to it than some of the other ones. So
Good call, Mom. Good
yeah.
call. All right, so no pressure.
Or you can go like half and half between stripper and professional wrestler and do like sumo wrestler.
Hi! All our friends are here tonight.
Hey, Ike.
Hey.
Do you guys just not go to your audio class? Why does everyone just pop in down there?
We have a break. We just come to see what's going on here.
We're talking about 9/11.
9/11.
Yeah, all the smiles fade.
We really are.
What's Noah's idea of 9/11?
What's your idea?
What kind of question is that?
I mean, do you have a different take from what we already know about it?
Ike's asking if I
Inside information.
what my personal take on 9/11 is and how it might differ from the. I don't think it's too different. I think it was a horrible thing that definitely happened. Sorry, green screen believers. Smoke tower.
Smoke machine.
Yeah. But
What's your take on 9/11? But yell, that way the microphones can hear you. Ike's a very quiet human.
I think it's the same way everyone else is. So.
okay, well, good.
Ike does not believe it was an inside job.
Were there no inside job? You don't believe it's an inside job, do you, Corinne?
It's not.
Corinne struck. What on earth?
That was such
That's
a
scary.
It was certainly
Of all the things to make a joke about, Corinne, that's messed up.
No, I loved it. That was top 10 fresh cut moments.
I'm sleeping on the couch tonight.
Well, since the planes were, outside
No,
of the
it's pretty
building, it was clearly an outside job.
Yeah, that's true.
Another 9/11 joke.
Shaun and Erin are, I think, having too much fun with this. Brandon and I are trying to have a discussion. Shame on you guys.
Laugh instead of
Cool
cry.
white striped shirt. Love the blue hair, Erin. It's all great.
Duh.
Doesn't really translate to radio, but if we have some random guy that like just accidentally stumbled upon milliganradio.com like the first time we aired a show and just has listened to us ever since. Erin has blue hair. It's pretty sweet. She rocks it.
Thanks. Did it myself. Rachel Simmons helped bleach. But
Well, what I was going to say about the
Blonde.
X-Files, I feel like I need to explain that because I just mentioned the X-Files and then I didn't say anything
oh yeah,
else.
we got a little distracted.
No,
That's my
it's good,
bad.
but I just don't want to confuse anybody. There's this, there was the spin-off show. Well, let me back up. There's these group of people in the X-Files called the Lone Gunmen. They have this magazine, and they're like, paranormal investigators, more or less. Not necessarily paranormal. They're more like, involved in government conspiracies. They investigate that kind of stuff. And there was a spin-off show of this group of characters in the show called the Lone Gunmen. And the first episode of the show involved a plane getting taken over by remote control, and they try to fly it into the World Trade Center.
Whoa.
Yeah, and at the last minute, they saved the day. They're able to pull up, and a lot of people point to that and said, that's probably the most direct.
It is weird how many, coincidences there are like this, but I don't think that.
Well, they were the largest buildings in New York City, so they'd be like,
Yeah.
Maybe they just loved
makes
these
sense.
movies and then like they took inspiration from it.
Aaron, I really don't like what's coming out of your mouth right now. Go sit in the corner with Corinne.
I can't crawl out.
I don't want you to crawl out. If you were right earlier, then Bill Greer might be crawling in, and I don't want you to like bump heads into each other.
Wait, what? Bill Greer.
Or was that before the show?
I'm not gonna look down.
Remember.
I'm not gonna look down.
When we
the
said
floor
Bill
and see
Greer crawling
in.
Whatever. I'm stressed out.
Well, my mom wants to know what you look like since we're listening.
Oh, I don't have blue hair. I
I was
guess
one of the 2 blondes on campus.
the best way to handle how I look like, since she doesn't know how I look like, but she does know how you look like, is to start with you and we'll work from there. So imagine Erin, but then instead of blue hair, it's blonde and curly. Instead of purple glasses that she often wears, I have black rims on my glasses. I'm still white. Actually, everyone on this show, I think, has been white. That's something we need to work on.
Yikes.
That's a conspiracy. What's wrong with the fresh cut?
No, at least we're not the lunch crew.
That's true, but I mean,
All right. Sorry, distracted.
I didn't want to go on a. I know I love attacking our fellow radio show, The Lunch Crew, as much as the next guy, which would I guess just be you, but for our 9/11 special, it felt weird. I didn't want to. Felt that was too distracting. So, anyways, Erin, but actually just blonde and maybe a little. Am I taller than you?
I'm 5'5".
That's about how tall I am. But then a male also, and with my voice you're hearing. So, and I don't have a nose ring. And what? I'm wearing a hat right now. That's not permanent, at least not yet. I haven't had any huge traumatic injuries where to save my life they had to like leave the hat intact, which is like stuck in there with a bullet. Would you be okay with that, Corinne? Corinne would leave me apparently if that happened. That sucks. Some wife she turned out to be. But I also I'm pretty pale, honestly. And well, yeah, but
Man, so am I.
We all kind of.
oh, we're super pale. Oh man.
Yes, Florida did me no good.
It's nice of you to try going somewhere
I got
where
more
you're gonna
freckles,
get.
that's all I get.
Well, that's fun.
Thanks.
I also have some freckles, and by now I would think that anybody would have the perfect idea of what I look like.
So now you have to
That
describe
about
our guests.
sums it up. Our guests have dark hair. They also have glasses. They're also white, and I think that about covers it.
We all look the same. We just have
Yes.
different hair.
That's we actually only do this show with people that look exactly like us. It's a problem. This is it's called white privilege. We're working on it, and back to 9/11. Ugh.
Well, at least I mean,
None of our topics today
at
are.
least 9/11 was perpetrated by people from the Middle East. They're not. They weren't. White.
I don't like where this is. Oh my
At
god.
least. That was a good
least.
lead-in.
I'm,
I don't know what.
I am not promoting this one on when I put it on YouTube.
Well, speaking of privilege, I think that's one of the main reasons why there are conspiracies around 9/11. Is because, living in America, we think we're the safest, most powerful country in the world. And when such a traumatic event happens, we can't believe that it really happened. And so people, create these conspiracies around it.
Yeah.
That's a really good point, and the best segue we've had on the show. Thank you, Shaun.
I mean, 19 people, basically changing the world overnight. I mean, that's
It is
kind
crazy.
of hard to swallow.
I guess, is Pearl Harbor the closest we would have had to something like that before then?
For all intents and purposes, sure, yeah. I mean,
Like,
well, I mean, I don't know, maybe the
We've been
JFK
fortunate.
assassination.
well, yeah, that's true.
I mean,
but overall,
we've
we've
considering,
been.
I'm not gonna debate the conspiracy theories on that. I mean,
Have we talked about that?
I just said we haven't talked about that
We haven't talked about JFK.
No, because I don't believe in it. But that's.
Well, yeah,
I
you
don't
believe in
John F.
Bigfoot?
Kennedy.
I don't believe in Bigfoot.
I don't
just
believe
believe
John
in
F.
Avril
Kennedy
Lavigne. That she, or the lack of Avril.
Is Elvis alive, Aaron?
No.
John F. Kennedy. Has
I don't
not
know
been
why you're so.
since
Aaron won't let us
19-
talk about Elvis. Corinne hates talking about Elvis conspiracies too. I don't know why all the women in my life hate the slight possibility that Elvis
I
is
never
still
said-
alive.
Okay, we'll do.
Do you hate
Jim
him that much?
We'll talk about Elvis and Jim Morrison next week.
Oh, that's a good idea.
I haven't heard of Jim Morrison conspiracies.
Tune in next week.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Or if we run out of time today, you'll just hear it because you're sitting right next
That's
to me.
a safe guess. Oh, that's my worst voice crack on the show. Now,
I was distracted.
everybody's image of me in their mind that hasn't seen me, just imagine, like, I started looking so much worse just then. They're like, oh, well, what would a guy that has horrible voice cracks look like?
A middle school boy.
Yeah, so now I look like a middle school boy. But that's fine, I guess.
I think my mom will still like you.
Let's not get our hopes up. Okay, so,
Tell us about your book.
Oh, yeah. It's called Inside 9/11. I've been originally started as a personal kind of thing to do my own investigating into, things that other people had said that I didn't want to take at face value, whether it be about Islam or terrorism or
that's true. I think that's also clouded a lot of the perception.
Yeah, definitely. And, over time it kind of developed into something more. And I've interviewed a few people. Like I interviewed a air traffic controller in New York. I went a few years ago.
That's right.
Or I guess the time is a little bit murky because I went to New York just recently, and I don't know. I definitely didn't interview anybody there. Then
You seem confused.
Yeah,
but it's impressive the amount of work you put in there as someone who's a college student.
Yeah, well, I interviewed I've interviewed structural engineers and stuff like that, and hopefully, I want to interview. There's other people. I don't want to say their names because you need to read the book to find out who's in there.
Good.
Wink, wink, wink.
They're turning the Fresh Cut into the Today Show.
Yeah. Buy my book.
The
Buy one, get
Tonight
one
Show.
free. But
I copy.
I hope to interview.
We should ask for one.
I hope to interview people who, well, I don't guess they're household names, but people like Sybil Edmonds, who was a translator. I'm trying to get in contact with her at the moment. So
That seems pretty big.
yeah.
Can you tell the cake story also?
Oh, I don't know.
I did some investigating before the show.
Did you, Brandon? Have you put a lot of work into this book?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Would you say the majority of the time you spent doing it has been indoors?
Yeah, he keeps me awake every night.
So you would say this is an inside job you're doing.
Well, when you put it that way,
That is.
well, to be fair, I have done some work on the outside as well. I mean, it hasn't just been me. It hasn't just been me sitting at a computer. I mean,
No, it
I've gone to the library and stuff.
inside Milligan.
Yeah.
All right, cake story.
Wait, can we just address the fact that you were like, I'm stressed at every single 9/11
That's
show?
not.
And then
I'm
you
not.
literally-
That wasn't like. That was a joke about
You're wrong. All right.
conspiracies behind 9/11.
All right, I'm gonna leave certain figures out of the story just because.
Just yeah.
Okay, so someone one year tried. Apparently, this is what I was told. I don't know if it's true or not. I presume it's true because it wouldn't surprise me. Somebody one year wanted to. Well, this person is in my family, and they didn't really say anything to me about the research that I was doing. So I really didn't know, what they were thinking one way or the other. And then one day they just blurted out that one year for my birthday, they had called, I don't know what, Food City or the Walmart, I don't know, some cake store, I don't know, and had apparently asked if they could put Osama bin Laden on the birthday cake. They said no, and so he asked, this person asked if they could put the Twin Towers on my cake and have Mickey Mouse planes flying around. Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit unbelievable. It was very. I mean, like there's been like very few times in my life where I've just like heard something and my mouth is just like dropped and I've sat there in silence for like a good 30 seconds. That was probably one of those. That was probably the only time. Yeah.
This show has been a trial for me.
This has been my favorite show yet.
Oh, well, good.
Just
This is the one you can promote to everyone. Make sure.
I'll put this in my portfolio.
Daniel said he might put his, he might hide his in like the back of his portfolio, his appearance.
Talk about Crayola crowns forever.
Oh, Crayola. Did you say crowns?
Crayons.
Is that what you said before?
Crayola crayon. Oh, I probably did say Crayola crowns. I apologize. That was a mispronunciation.
Well, I'm glad you're taking ownership of that one.
Well, it's recorded and we're putting it on the internet, so it's not like I can lie about it.
That's true. Plus, we've clearly already gone like a minute just talking about you saying it like this. Let's move on.
All right. I feel a little attacked.
I'm sorry.
Never mind. That was almost.
Yeah, a little tone deaf, tone sensitive. I don't know my words.
Name.
Tone sensitive, great band name. Doesn't really work for anything else except for maybe like an emo wrestler.
Me.
Erin Donovan.
Could you imagine me being a WWE wrestler? That's a no from Brandon.
No,
I
can picture, which is the strange thing.
When I picture it, you seem
like
weirdly happy about it.
I can picture you like holding somebody above your head and then you throwing them and like then flexing. Like I don't know.
What would your song be when you walk in?
Well, my first thought was "Click" by Kanye West, but that doesn't really make sense. Then I thought I'll do my favorite song, but that's "Come On Eileen," which is not intimidating in the slightest. Maybe no.
How about "You Are My Sunshine"? Go out to that.
Just the John
Have a great
Cena.
time.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, just copy other people's.
Yeah.
I think no. Another one.
For those that don't know what Erin looks like, reverse engineer what I said from me to her. What were you saying? Sorry for interrupting you. I thought by changing the mic setup I might interrupt less, but I'm just a bad person.
Well, you gotta take the one up with Corinne.
Corinne does not look happy. She was also not paying attention.
He said
It's
he's
okay,
a bad
you don't-
person.
Just
I
like
said he
everybody
would take that
listening.
up with you.
Oh, she said I'm. Well, she didn't say I'm a good person, but she said I'm not a bad person, and really, that's doing a pretty good job in this life, I think.
All right, I'm gonna get back to you on the song. I'm processing every song in my head.
All right. Well, I'm thinking Dave Matthews Band got to support our signed poster and Milligan. How do we have that? Whatever.
That's my line.
Anything else on 9/11?
Well, one thing I find interesting that a lot of people probably don't know is 9/11 was the first time the World Trade Center was struck by an airplane. You want to talk about that?
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean...
You know more details.
Well, I mean, on 9/11, 2 airplanes hit the World Trade Center.
Yeah, but there was that
What is happening?
There was another plane that was like during the 1940s.
Yeah, but that was during the 1940s.
I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, during the 1940s, a B-2 struck the Empire State Building, killed I think 14 people.
And a lot of people point to that and say, the buildings didn't fall then, so why did they fall this time?
Yeah, it's a little bit different. I mean, for one thing, that is the only fire at such a height that was ever put out, as far as I know, at that time. I mean, leading up to 9/11, that is. And the guy, I think his name is William Franklin Smith Jr. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I'm specific.
No, don't apologize. I just can't imagine naming a child that.
Or band.
Well, he was
Or
he was lost. He was trying to land at LaGuardia, I believe, and he was lost. He was completely lost in the fog because it was really foggy.
Okay, well.
And he wasn't, deliberately trying to crash a plane to a building, so it wasn't going that fast. And it was, a B-2 bomber. It wasn't, a 767. I mean,
yeah. I looked it up, and a 767 weighs 400,000 pounds, and they travel at 500 miles per hour. So that's a lot of force right there.
Yeah. But I mean, one thing a lot of people point to is that the World Trade Center was designed to withstand the impact of a Boeing 707. I mean, okay, that's a Boeing 707. I mean, they're not. For one thing, the World Trade Center.
Terms for someone who
smaller plane.
Yeah, I mean, one.
I've been on like 4 planes in my whole life, so I'm a little up to your speed.
Well, I mean, for one thing, when they designed the World Trade Center and they decided to, not decided to. I don't know how to describe that. Whenever they designed it to withstand the like an impact of a Boeing 707, they said that it was going to be it would have to be like a slow moving airplane. They didn't really count for a bigger plane like a 767 or, one of the jet fuel. And I mean, for one thing, the jet fuel, whenever it hit the tower, it burned up real quick. But when it hit the building, a fireball went down the elevator shaft, started fires on, so many floors. The World Trade Center is very. I'm not a structural engineer, but from the people that I've talked to, it's called. They describe it as a tube-in-tube structure, and basically, whenever the plane hit the building, it allowed for a lot of more damage than a normal skyscraper. It really affected the building a lot more differently. The jet fuel, went down the sides of the not outside the building. I guess it could have. I don't know, but what's that noise?
Someone singing in our hallway.
Oh, okay. Well, there were witnesses, who said that.
Our producer was the one singing.
Yeah, I'm not laughing. I'm not laughing at what I'm describing.
Yes, the bad timing.
Yeah, there were two filmmakers in New York City who filmed the first plane going to the tower because they were making a documentary on firefighters, and they just happened to capture the first plane hitting the tower, and they would their footage was turned to a documentary, and they described people on fire inside the lobby when they went inside. The only way that would happen was if the explosion from up there traveled down to the lobby, or they were in one part of the building and ran down, or went down the elevator shaft. I mean, these things happen. Like the fireball came out of the elevator. I mean, that's not undisputed because people had like their faces burnt off and stuff. I mean, it was but people for some reason they just think oh, that means there were explosives. I mean, I
feel like the conspiracy people for this don't do as good a job as some of our other things in history. Like JFK got some good ones. To honor his death with some
good conspiracy.
Better
Soviet Union. I've heard that one anyway. I don't know any details.
Well, I mean, there was a janitor in the basement who said that he heard an explosion before the first plane hit. I just don't understand how you could, like, going back to the guy in the World Trade Center 7. I don't know how you could know, like, you hear an explosion. How do you know that's not the plane hitting the building? And then a second explosion you hear is the fireball or an explosion coming through the building from the plane. Like, how do you?
I know that's crazier than like something that any of us would ever go through in our entire lives. So it's weird to think that like someone would have their recollection of the events there just perfectly and like.
Yeah. I
mean, especially like as it occurs.
Yeah.
Because he says, I hear an explosion and then I hear another explosion and I don't know. He says that people come running to him, not looking too great. And physically anyways, medically. And I mean, the fact that we know that, the fireball, there was a fireball that went down the elevator shafts. I mean, connecting the dots is pretty simple. And I mean, honestly. Yeah. I mean, and see, the thing, this may not be something that goes through a lot of conspiracy theorists' heads, and I don't want to demonize, the phrase conspiracy theorist, because, I mean, there's definitely good questions about 9/11. I mean, the CIA knew that two of the hijackers were in the United States before 9/11 and deliberately withheld the information from the FBI. Like, there's a show on Hulu right now called the Looming Tower. It's based off a book written by Lawrence Wright, which I recommend. It's very good. It won the Pulitzer Prize. And that as that show is doing, it's describing the infighting between the CIA and the FBI. And I don't know if it's going to get into the NSA or not. It's only a few episodes in. But I mean, these organizations are very. There's a difference between a criminal investigation and an intelligence investigation, and there's procedures in place to prevent those two things from crossing over. But yet, I mean, look what happened. I mean, 9/11 still happened.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think that the people who withheld the information, got away with manslaughter at least.
Yeah, I mean. I mean, you can't predict something like that at the time, but like when you're not as careful as you can be about things like that, then that's why you.
Well, there was considerable evidence that something like that could happen.
Well, I mean, but
I mean, yeah.
Like
I'm not trying to.
I guess what I'm saying is like what Shaun was saying, where like
I don't like sitting.
It just seemed like impossible. Invisible. I don't know what that means. Impossible.
Yeah, like
that something like that could happen.
Yeah, just look up the definition.
So,
of for you.
Yeah,
but that's no excuse to not like.
Yeah,
really look into those things.
There's this famous presidential daily briefing that Bush received called on August 6, 2001, and it said that bin Laden was determined to attack the United States involving aircraft and hijackings, and it was there was a lot of fallout after 9/11 because people said that he knew about it beforehand, which. I mean, given the intelligence that that at least the CIA had, it was something that easily could have been prevented. But I mean, that's probably the biggest mystery.
To think about.
The biggest mystery about 9/11 is exactly why that information was withheld. Because, I mean, when you get down to the nuts and bolts of it, there's really no solid good explanation as to why that happened. A lot of people think that the CIA was trying to recruit the two hijackers in the United States to be informants for them, for Al-Qaeda. But one thing that happens a lot of the time is that there'll be an informant and they're actually still they're still working with the group they're informing the U.S. about. Like there was one guy named Ali Muhammad who was in the U.S. Army. He was an informant for the FBI and the CIA, but he was an Al-Qaeda agent, and he pretty much, pretended to work for the United States government, but in reality, he plotted terrorist attacks against the United States, including the embassy bombings in 1998 in Kenya and Tanzania, and I mean, it's really when you think about it, it's really sad because it keeps happening over and over again. These kinds of things, we have we have a plausible idea of something could happen in the future because we're doing this, and then something does happen, and then we get this other guy who does the exact same thing. He's informing for us, but he's actually still a terrorist. That happens repeatedly in the lead up to 9/11.
That's super depressing. As really. Just in general, the fact that this happened, and I don't know, is you hopefully like some of the measures we've taken since then are helping. It's
hopefully. I mean,
sad we didn't have more in place before then, and I don't know. I guess it's just disappointing to grow up in a world and like you slowly realize just how messed up and dangerous and scary things can be.
Yeah.
Anyways, on a more lighthearted note,
we prepared a game for you guys.
Yes, some people may say Bush did 9/11. We wouldn't say Bush did 9/11, but Bush did say a lot of really stupid stuff. So you want to tell them what our game is called?
Did Bush say this or did a child say this?
Okay.
And we have lots of statements. We prepared a lot. We don't know how much time we're going to have. So, and I'm going to read it to you, and you're going to guess... Did our former president, George W. Bush, say this, or did a child say this?
So we're on the same team, or are we against each other?
Yeah. Well,
I guess we might have two different answers.
I like it. I like going against each other.
Okay, sure.
Noah already knows all the answers, or else I would have said, that was silent. This is the radio. All right. Noah, which one do you think we should start with?
Let's see here. Why don't you go with 13?
Okay. One of the things I've used the Google for is to pull up maps.
The Google.
Bush.
I would say false.
You say it's a child?
Yeah.
It was our former president, George W. Bush.
You can tell because
I didn't think we had Google Maps back then.
I don't know, but you can tell it's
Not
Bush
Google
because
Maps,
he says the Google, like the Google.
Yeah.
All right, 1 point for Brandon. All right, Noah.
Oh, why don't you just pick one of those? And he's good.
Okay. I'm not opposed to being a Kentucky family.
I'm not opposed to I would say Bush. I don't understand why a child would say that.
I guess true, yeah.
That was not Bush, sadly.
Well, who said that then?
Erin actually said that.
So Erin's a child?
Moving on.
Greg.
Shut up. This is our show.
I hear that there's rumors on the internet.
I would say child.
I guess also true.
True as in that was Bush, or true as in child?
No, Bush.
All right, 1 point for Shaun. That was our former president, George W. Bush. Is our children learning?
Bush.
Yeah, I'd say sure.
I know because I know that.
Oh, okay.
You were so quick. Bush, absolutely. Yeah.
No
okay.
child's that stupid.
You're right. That was Bush. Okay.
And it was at an education press conference, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
It's depressing.
And which was really embarrassing.
I believe what I believe is right.
Yeah, that's a yes.
I'd say that's not Bush.
That was Bush. All right. Are y'all keeping track of your points? Because I forgot.
He has 2. I have 1, 2.
I think you have 2.
I don't know.
Yeah, I guess it's a tie. I'm not sure.
All right, we're starting over.
Do we, both, do, we
No.
get, do we get points on the same question, or is it like who says it first?
You get a point if you get one and the other doesn't, maybe?
You get a-
Those are
you
the
get a
only
point
points
if you
that
get it
matter. Okay, well, okay.
Wait, I've
Sorry.
asked 5 questions. Maybe not. All right. 2 versus 2. We'll say that. No, do you want to read
All right,
one?
I'll read one. Ha 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 ha. iCarly trips us up all sometime.
I would say it's not Bush. If that was Bush, I'd be very surprised.
That was definitely not Bush.
Okay.
That is something that you would expect out of a child.
If he were to say iCarly, he would say the iCarly. The iCarly.
The iCarly on.
Or refer to iCarly as folks.
I don't actually have a lot to say since you're 5 feet away from me. So here's the Gettysburg Address. 407 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation conceived in.
I want to say false.
I would say it's not
It's a
Bush.
trick question.
That was definitely not Bush. That was actually me.
Okay, I'm not going to ask any questions. Okay. I don't understand the 5 feet away.
Okay. Next.
The important question is, how many hands have I shaked?
Yeah, I'll say yes.
I would say... Okay, I'll say Bush.
It's
All right.
Bush.
It's
Okay.
Bush. We'll stay on that theme, not of Bush, but never mind. I'm honored to shake the hand of a brave Iraqi citizen who had his hand cut off by Saddam Hussein.
I would definitely say that's Bush.
Probably.
It's not something children talk about that much.
Yeah.
You're a good call.
I just saw a hand theme, had to go for it.
Good for you.
Thank you. I know that human beings and fish can coexist peacefully.
Bush.
Yep.
Right?
I mean, yeah, okay.
I only marry rich men that don't take their vitamins.
I would say it's not Bush.
Any fresh cut Subaru fan would know that was Erin Donovan.
Let's see. It feels good. If it feels good, do it.
Bush.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, my farm had ice cream, but your farm isn't my farm. Bush, you're a child.
Well, Bush did have
Yeah,
farms.
Texas.
So, yeah, Crawford Ranch.
Specific?
I would say Bush.
Yeah, I guess.
Nope. That was
That was me.
that was a blue-headed child.
I'm also not very analytical. You know, I don't spend a lot of time thinking about myself, about why I do things.
I want to say yeah.
I would say it's not Bush.
That's George W. Bush. I don't want to confuse with H.W. That's why I keep throwing the W in there. I can't die now. I have a wife and a prison dog.
I would say it's not Bush.
I guess
That
I'd
was
say yes.
that is not Bush.
But I can't think of a child saying that.
That's because it was Noah Parker. If you haven't caught on, we're basically just children. Our enemies are innovative and resourceful, and so are
Bush.
we.
I would say that.
But
You
you
Bush
didn't-
super fans.
Yeah, no, but the next line is
I didn't get to the
yeah.
funny
The next
part.
line is the funny part. Yeah.
They never stop thinking about new ways to harm our country and our people, and neither do we. That's our producer, Pern Dog's favorite one.
There's no way that Mike Pence isn't constantly murdering people.
I would say it's not Bush.
I guess not.
probably be inappropriate for him to say. That was someone else.
Our memes.
Someone else. You're not going to specify.
Well, it wasn't me.
What? Next.
Are memes the new nudes?
I would say it's not Bush.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, it's confused by the internet a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Sean, do you
no,
have
I
an
guess I'll
answer?
say yes, because I'm not.
I wish. I would cry.
Sadly, it was not him.
There's no love in Gmail, only desperation.
I would say it's not Bush.
I guess we're not,
That was Noah Parker.
If it isn't pollution that is harming our atmosphere, it's
Bush.
the impurities in our air and water that are doing it.
Wait, what?
It's the impurities in our air and water that are.
I would say
doing it.
Not
Yeah,
pollution,
I'll say yes.
just the impurities.
I know how hard it is for you to put food on your family.
Yes.
That's Bush. Definitely
I know
Bush.
he said that.
Yeah.
This guy got reelected.
I ate 2 Baby Ruths last night. I was so stressed.
What?
Sure.
Baby
I'll
Ruth?
say
Baby
yes.
Ruth.
Baby Ruth bars, chocolate.
I would say Bush.
Nope.
I mean, I can see him like saying that in front of like an audience of people, like after he messes up or something. Oh,
He
yeah,
has
two Baby
said
Ruths
some
last night.
childlike things, but that was something I would expect more from a fresh cut child.
Let's see. Haha. Oh wait, did you already say this?
You already said the iCarly one.
My role in life is to tell people Pixar didn't actually make planes.
Wait, what now? Pixar what?
My role in life is to tell people Pixar did not actually make planes.
The movie Planes.
I would-
saying no.
I would not say that was Bush.
Okay.
Or I
Yeah.
would say that was not
definitely
Bush.
wasn't- He wasn't president when
That was
movie
actually
came out.
me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
that was Noah. I promise you I will listen to what has been said here, even though I wasn't here.
I'll say
Bush.
yes. Over a conference call or something like that.
So it was Bush.
It was Bush.
Okay.
I think we've done all. Okay, I'm trying to see if I've missed any of them.
Don't forget. Oh, I don't want to. There's a good quote that's not on there.
We couldn't cover all of them.
Fool me once.
Oh, that
Oh,
one
we
was-
saw that one.
That one
It
was
was too
really,
long.
really long, and I didn't know how to do the pause without making myself.
Those ones you say like,
He's
I don't
like-
know if
he's
you
like-
people in Texas have this, but it's from Tennessee.
Fool me once.
Fool me once, shame on.
Shame on you. And he's like, fool me twice. You fool me once, but you can't get fooled again, or something. Or something.
That's in a song.
It's difficult trying to make.
It's I think
sense of what he said.
that's probably the funniest one he's said. I don't know.
I think gay times gay equals the ultimate gay, which is Elton John.
I would say that was not Bush.
That was Noah Parker.
That was not important. Who said that?
Listen, if I'm calling myself out, I'm also
All right,
calling
all right. There were no children in this.
My voice isn't fully back, so I can't do my high-pitched silly noises.
I would say that's not
Yeah.
Bush.
I'll say yes. I like that.
No, that's sadly, I haven't heard too many Bush high pitched silly noises. That was me.
All
Lost
right.
my voice.
Did y'all keep track?
I lost.
I'll say
Did anyone have fun at the very least?
participation
Make us feel better.
trophies. All right. Yep. If you didn't catch on, all of the actually, I can't say all of the ridiculous quotes because some of them were from George W. Bush, but all the
I
children.
think the
were.
more ridiculous ones.
were us.
Do you remember what it was he said when that person threw his shoes at him?
I don't think he said anything.
He said something. I can't remember.
I thought he's ducked. I thought, and then the guy who was throwing the shoe was yelling.
Well, he
I
said
thought-
something like it could
It's a
be
good
worse
dodge.
or something. I don't remember.
I don't
We
know.
did the Naruto.
I know that there's a giant stone shoe that was erected in his in honor of that incident.
Wow.
Yeah.
So to close out the show, Corinne's here, and we always do this segment where we trash our families. Corinne, would you like to trash your family?
No.
Okay.
What a pure soul.
No, I don't
buried
see.
a good one.
I don't see my family as much as I should. So
What do you
I'll
do?
feel even worse if I just trash them because they don't deserve to be trashed.
No, we're terrible.
Literally, they do everything for me. And
Okay, well,
This is the opposite.
apparently
I'm sorry.
Aaron and I have
I love you.
pent up rage towards our
Sean, do you want to
families.
trash your
I
family?
mean, you don't even
Oh.
trash Noah.
I don't know. My sister's crazy, but I can't think of any examples or anything.
Mom, I won't trash you, especially if you listen to 78 minutes of me rambling on the radio.
Well, I don't want to be the only one to trash someone else.
I'll think
but
of something.
I have a wife, and she was late to the show, so, and she's now disappointed in me. But she can take that out on me later.
My sister Kylie. Well, no, my brother Connor has. I'm trying to think of something. They have weird taste in music.
Radiohead is the greatest band.
What is? Well, Reagan has a
Said it
good taste in
over
music.
live.
What did you say?
I said Radiohead is the greatest band. I had to say.
And with that, we're done. Just
What?
kidding.
Specific?
I had to say live over the air. Radiohead is the greatest band.
I don't think you did. Let people like Radiohead or not like Radiohead.
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 Over the Hedge.
Good parody. I love
DreamWorks.
that movie.
I have not seen that in a long time.
I have not
not
seen Over the-
surprised you.
I have not
You
seen
love
Over
it
the
though.
I have seen Barnyard.
My mom
and that
said
movie
thanks
was
for not
terrible.
trashing us.
Oh,
You're
well, we
welcome,
also
Mom.
won't trash Over the Hedge. I don't
Yeah, you
remember
can't.
enough
That's
to do
such a good movie.
But we definitely, more than anything else, we could never say anything bad about iCarly, or Erin would break down. Anyways,
I never watched iCarly.
We have
okay.
to end the show
All
right
right,
now.
well,
You
turn
didn't
his
watch
mic
Drake and
off.
Josh either.
Yeah, I
You didn't watch?
think Josh.
Okay, whatever. We're ending now.
Good thing it's
I've gotten a note here. It says, at the end of your show, let them know mine and Dalton's show is canceled. That's Caleb Perney, our producer. I don't really like doing these chores for him with my airtime.
But Radio Rejects rejected themselves, and they're donezoed.
How pathetic. I don't like it when people promise a semester-long show and then they fail to deliver.
How many
Or
times?
at least fail to air themselves. I don't know if we deliver, but...
We deliver a show every week, minus the time we're on spring break.
Yeah, which I forgot to tweet about. But, and
I don't know how many loyal followers we have.
anyways, listen to us next week where we talk about the greatest conspiracy of all. Do you actually run faster when you do the Naruto run? And
That's a good.
Tune in, Jim Morrison, Naruto.
we will have Barack Obama here with us. Thanks and bye.